I think we're meant for people who didn't know anything about finance. I think our group is pretty smart. So I wanted to provide something practical. So half of it was more about how to present to investors and capture your essence of your venture. In the second half, we tried to do more interactive, more like a Vistage issue processing session, which I used to do. So we picked one issue for each founder and tried to address that collectively.
That was amazing. That was very well received. I know I received feedback from the founders that they really like that part of it where you just did a live case study. So it was great. Thank you, Raghu. Next question is for Ketan. This is related to, I know Archana had a lot to say about your contribution to her. This is about rewarding moments, right? So can you describe a particular rewarding experience that you had while mentoring Archana in this program?
The rewarding moments I had. Just to start with the free coffees at a Starbucks, that was a big thing.
Ketan loves coffee.
But on a serious note, I think the common theme that I heard just before this founders that, hey, make your vision larger, bigger, and then think global, act local, right? And we all kind of preach that to all our the founders, right? But what was rewarding for me was more around when you start doing it to the founders. It's very difficult for them to digest that kind of thing because this is their baby. They thought about this, they have nurtured this for so many years and they think they got it. This is the global vision. This is the largest vision they can think of it. But rewarding moment for me when I worked with her, when I talked about some of the vision which is larger, better, she not only kind of understood the vision, but visualized the vision and nurture it, and then thinking of kind of taking it forward. That was a great rewarding moment for me. It rarely happens. I'm telling from my own experience, where I have exited a couple of startups, and somebody comes back and tells me, hey, think global. And it's so much of resistance that comes into picture. So I think that was very rewarding that she is such a great person, passion with a purpose. So I was fortunate to work with her.
Great, thank you. That was awesome. Next question is for Rohit. This is related to the progress. What significant progress or transformation have you observed in the founder, Samir?
I don't know about that, but I think I have grown quite a bit. Yeah, Samir is he's an incredible entrepreneur. He's a 2x entrepreneur. He has already gone through this journey, so I didn't have to do much. But I think in a couple of months, you also talked about it. I was very impressed with the progress that you made in the venture, whether it is closing the funding, how you were thinking about the product, you grew that quite a bit. We talked about, how the vetting of the influencers or knowledge owners. I think, the kind of progress he made, it clearly tells me that he's a very savvy entrepreneur. He thinks about the right issues the right way, and then the speed at which you execute, that's incredible. So great progress in those 2 months. I'm very pleased with that.
Thank you. Next question is for Samir. I think this is the advice for founders, right? What advice would you give to founders for maximizing their gains from the next cohort? So we have already started planning for cohort 2. What kind of advice would you give?
So I expect the next cohort is going to have bar raising, right? This cohort was great. What happens is when you're an entrepreneur, why you are starting something, you believe in it, you're smart enough, you have full conviction of your own idea. You could be right or wrong, time would tell, or your execution might have some nuances. But when you're talking to the advisor, you have to be open, you have to be ready to listen. You may not take the ideas or advice and implement it because it may or may not be right for you, but having that somebody who has done that, been there, asking the right question, you thinking about it. And I think Ketan said that thinking global, right? It's very, very hard, right? So as an entrepreneur, you are kind of easy to get into a rabbit hole. Your advisor is trying to pull you out, and you have to let them pull you out. That's the advice.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Samir. So next question is about future mentors. So I know we already have few mentors here who could be potentially future mentors. So this question is for Avinash. What advice would you give to someone considering to become a mentorship role for our next cohort?
And you are our, competitive recruit from New York, so.
By the way, Rohit is already booked.
So I think
Next.
with this experience, which for me was the first time I mentored someone in an accelerator program, and all of the founders here very passionate, and that's important. But you also have to be solving something that brings value. So the marriage of those two things is what will be your product and your success. And I think future founders, if they can actually just frame that coaching in the current environment. So we are in 2024, we're not in 2023, and we're not pre-COVID, for instance. So what is the technological landscape now, the regulatory landscape now, and if you can also extend that to the financial and the economic landscape, so that they can actually see those things and what they're trying to do. And they're, not that they go in their own rabbit holes, but so that you can actually just put things in context every time, little comments here and there. I think these are very bright people. They have something, which others don't have, which is entrepreneurship, and that's something which is unique. I mean, I didn't tell this to Utej. I had somebody on my podcast joined, and she didn't make it to medical school, and she actually made that her identity. And then I told her, you're royalty. You're an entrepreneur. You're actually going to probably be creating jobs for people. You're going to be paying taxes more than others. You should just forget about that. There's enough doctors in the world, so you don't need to be one of those that didn't make it to med school. So for founders, I think amazing opportunity. I think I learned as much as they did from such amazing faculty. So, and I'm going to share it. I founded a company myself in the meantime, which, looking at the stage, where there is so much to do in the healthcare landscape. I'm a physician, and the idea was he's solving a very important problem. The problem is accessibility of care, not only in this country, but around the world. This country actually spends the most in healthcare by far. The number 2 in the most advanced countries. We're talking something like 5 to 10x, and the outcomes are somewhere similar to third world countries if you look at individual outcomes. So there's a lot of work to be done, but you need people who have the courage to actually do something. So looking at them, I was like, let me start something. So my co-founder, he left early because he had to, but he thought that was the only dinner, but I think
Awesome.
But yeah, I encourage anybody to do it. I think it's a great experience.
Thank you. The last question is, I think, very important, is advice for the program team. The 3 of us, 3 mosquitoes, 3 amigos. Right? What would you advise to the nurture program
Big clap
team?
to all 3. They did an amazing job. This is the first time they have done a cohort, and they did an amazing job. The way you guys have executed the whole program so well. Because I've seen programs go haywire, but you guys have kept to the schedule and done an amazing job. And I think the advice is that all entrepreneurs are very passionate. They have a lot of passion. They want to rule the world. We want to go global, universe. The challenges are that when you have a limited time, especially like the program we run, you have to have very specific questions, things you want to address right now. Because you could address 100 different things, and it could take ages. There is some problem, something which is on top of your mind which you want to address. That is how you have to extract that knowledge and have that information ready when you are dealing with mentors or talking to mentors, so that you can solve that problem. And I personally had a similar situation in TiE itself when I was trying to scale my business in South America. I sat with Raman one day and I was trying to spend so much of time traveling to Chile and Uruguay and all. And he was like, okay, Jesse, what are you doing? I said, I'm doing this, going to Chile and all. He said that, so Jesse, he listened to me for half an hour, nothing. And I said, how much is the market there, Jesse? I said, $100 million in the South American market. I said, how much is the market in US? I said, $1 trillion. I said, are you spending 50% of your time going after a $100 million market? And you are not spending 50% on $1 trillion. Do you think there's something wrong? I said, yeah, I think I understand what is wrong. Within a month, I stopped all my South America effort and I focused on US, and that was the game changer. So this is how things pivot. So as I would just advise that people come more prepared with specific questions, get specific answers, and I think those are the game-changing moments.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you all the panelists. Appreciate your time. Once again, thank you for all your contributions.